and I'm sure we haven't missed on it. So let's do one-on-one introduction again after the lunch, because I think that's a very lazy time, so we can wake up. So let's move ahead. So let's move ahead to our next chief guest address that is coming up now.
So it is with great pleasure and honor that I stand here before you today to welcome our chief guest, Golok Kumar Simli, who has accepted our invitation to address the gathering. He is the Principal Advisor and Chief Technology Officer, Passport Seva Program, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. So I welcome Golok Kumar Simli to address the gathering, please.
So can we have a big round of applause, Mr. Golok Kumar Simli joining in from Government of India, Ministry of External Affairs.
Very good morning to all of you. Let me at the outset thanks DIGITALCONFEX, Ms. Nali Batra, Ayush and team, and all the organizers having me here. I think we were listening about data, we are listening about regulations our Honorable MP talked about, and they are very kind of a valid points to the core which we all are looking into. But let me focus on an area, because today we'll be speaking on emerging technology. Today we'll also be speaking on what are the huge cases of these emerging technology. At the same time, what are the kind of different innovations you all can look into, whether I come from government, you come from industry, and then what are the various challenges, right? Now to start with, if I ask all of you, when we look into technology, when you look into this kind of innovations, what are the three key factors, if I ask? The first and foremost key factor is the business objective, right? What is your business objective? Whether I'm dealing with citizens, you are dealing with some product or solutions, somebody might be from academia, addressing the students' concerns. So what are your business objectives? The second very important when we talk about all these emerging technologies, innovations, is the segment. Which segment you are trying to address? The customer segments, the beneficiaries. For me, actually, the problem is there is no segment, right? I'm dealing with more than 1.4 billion of people, right? So for government, there is no segment. For us, the prime concerns is all of you. It is you and me. For us, it is also about how do I follow a process of that something I call digital democratization, right? So when I am dealing with people, when I am dealing with masses, my concern is that technology should be such, whether it is an emerging technology, whether it is advanced technology, whether it is as is. My concern is I do not differentiate between a demography, I do not differentiate between a geography. I also do not differentiate between a literacy, illiteracy, rural, urban, so on and so forth, right? So how do we create that digital democratization in terms of technology? In terms of connecting people, in terms of empowering them, in terms of making them inclusive part of the society, bringing them into the mainstream, right? Where today we are talking about $1 trillion of digital economy. But do you all believe, or do I really believe, that without having them integrated into the ecosystem, those left out masses, those rural sections of the society, those remote corners of the country? And let me quote an example so that we can connect. I love to quote example. When we are kind of transforming these many of these services, whether it is Aadhaar, whether it is GST, whether it is passport, whether it is UPI, our concerns is, and today I can vouch, you all can vouch for me, saying that if you apply for a passport services, whether you apply from Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, no, or anywhere, or a citizens, a villagers, no, applying for a passport services, whether a remote corner of UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, MP, wherever it is. I don't make any difference in terms of giving that services closer to the people, in terms of giving that services equally technologically, no, kind of a ease of services to the people, and also in terms of, no, the way they understand that language, what I speak. It must not be, technology must not be the way you understand the technology. The technology must be the way they understand the technology. The technology must be in a way, the way they will connect to you, not you will connect to them, right? And that is what we are doing, whether anything we are doing, whether, as I said, whether we are creating this platform of platforms like Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker, so and so forth. And other side, when you're developing applications, whether it is a passport, whether it is a GSTN, whether it is a driving license, plethora of example I can give, right? The second fact is when you are dealing with technology, I think Patnaik sir has spoke many things about the data, right? But when we are dealing with data, we also must ensure that the data has three major principles. And what are these three principles? The first principle is your need. What is your need? What is your need? What is my need? Right? The second principle of the data is the knowledge. How much knowledge you are carrying to understand that data sets. Whether I as a provider, you as a industry, someone as a citizen who are looking for a service, benefits, schemes, product, solution, what is the knowledge they have about that, right? And third is the behavior. Do you understand the behavior? We are talking about AI today, right? We are talking about Gen AI today, lot of. But when I talk about behavior, those 5 V's, the volume, value, variety, veracity, do I really understand that behavior? The other very important fact of the data, and mind it, whatever we are trying to address as an organization, I think someone from audience asked about when we are collaborating with the industry. And I think we are the biggest example, while collaborating in the industry. The kind of change we could create, the kind of impact we could create, I am very much sure, and I think that's my experience, is that government alone cannot deliver. We ought to collaborate with industry. Let me quote another example. When I started passport services in 2008, you know how much volume I was dealing with? In a year, around 45 lakhs. Today I am dealing 15 million, right, in a year. So how many times I have moved ahead? And then when it comes to the resource, my official strength was that point of time 3,000. Today it has reduced to 1,800. But then how am I doing it? And how am I achieving that success rate? Because of the fact that I have innovated everywhere, whether it is process, whether it is collaborating with the technology, whether it is collaborating with the industry, whether it is innovating a business model, very important, right? Very important. The business model which will align with the technology, the business model which is sustainable over a time, the business model which is not at one go, it is all time to come, right? And on the other hand, I always quote this example saying that when we are launching these big programs, I think these programs got delayed by itself, let's say 8 months, 10 months, 1 year, because that kind of alignment, realignment, and that's what I was telling you about. Do we really understand the data sets when we connect to the people in terms of their knowledge, in terms of their wisdom, in terms of their need, and in terms of their behavior pattern? Whatever I do, if I define security, cyber security, whatever I do, if I bring in any kind of, any sort of technology into my solution, product, services, it doesn't work unless the users are aligned, unless the beneficiaries are really kind of a trained, connect and avail that data sets or the services what we are talking about. To my mind, it also strikes when we are talking about AI. There are a lot of use cases of AI. Today we are talking about use cases of AI in agriculture, health sectors, and as I said, it's already happening. I'm already doing it, right? I really understand sitting here in this room or when I'm speaking to you, how much of my citizens today hitting at various passport seva kendra. I also really can predict from my tab itself saying that in a passport seva kendra, maybe there are 2 government officers is not reported, and how do I handle that extra load in that passport seva kendra? I can do that sitting here, right? But how am I doing that? Because I know those data sets well. I also know that how to channelize those data points, even if there is a issue arises or even if there is a problem being faced at a particular point of time. But how do you channelize those resources? How do you channelize those data sets? And how do you also channelize those decisions points? Very important. So are we really mapping in terms of technology one side, in terms of mapping those roles and responsibilities at other side, and also are you having that kind of a visibility and observability anywhere you are? And when I say those visibility, those observability, it's not only about the technology, but when I'm talking even about the security, privacy, unless you have those visibility, unless you have those observability, how do you deal with it? I'm not in a position to deal with it otherwise, right? The last point I must say, because there is a paucity of time. When we are talking about technology, innovation, technology trend, and the challenges together, the biggest challenges for all of us is, the biggest challenges for us, at least in the government, is the scale I am dealing with, the kind of masses I am dealing with, right? For me, if I am approaching you as an industry, I am looking for a solutions which can deal with a scale, which is economical, which is sustainable over time. And also, when I am dealing with masses at large, my challenges other challenges are 2 more challenges. How do you align, realign with which I call the rules of engagement? And those rules of engagements are nothing but the law of the land. Today we have enabled DPDP, right? Every one of us now we are moving towards how do you align with the recently enabled DPDP law, DPDP Act. And the last bit is when I'm addressing these challenges, these emerging technology, whether it is in the form of AI, whether it is in the form of robotics, whether it is in the forms of biometrics, there are many huge cases of biometric today even we are doing, many one of us, you realize that when you go for a services, whether it is passport service, driving license, first you have to register, right? Now when you are registering, what exactly you are doing? You are putting some of your data and then your email ID and then the phone number, right? That is the first step you do. And then I send a OTP or something kind of that on that email address. What have I done? I started looking into the privacy there and there itself. I have already introduced into you having your phone number and email ID. So where is the concerns of having that privacy? And that is why we are saying that how can you create privacy by design? Can I avoid that? Why do I collect your phone number and email ID just to get registered for a purpose or a service? May not require. Can I enable that voice based? Can I enable that face based? Can I enable that fingerprint based? And mind it, that will not come to me, that will remain on your client device. I can do that, right? You just give me your face, you get it registered on my portal, data remains with you on your device. I am not carrying that data forward. but your job is done, right? So when you're looking into security, privacy, and all those things, and vis-a-vis the emerging technologies, no? All these, whether you are looking for a blockchain solution, whether you are looking for AI-based solutions, whether you are looking for a robotics-based solutions, right? Whether you are looking for a cloud-based solutions, a plethora of technology, it's all available. But the concern is, the challenges are threefold. How do you align, realign with the user space? How do you align, realign with the rules, regulations, compliances, law of the land? And don't forget, when you are building security, privacy, no, and then adapting these new technologies, emerging technologies, ensure that the approach is holistic. The approach which you can visualize, the approach we can make a observability out of it when I'm taking any decisions. Decisions for myself, decisions for the masses at large, decisions for the beneficiary and customers at large. And at the end of the day, when I'm collecting those data sets, no, you as a principal owner of the data, I am being the fiduciary of the data. In between, what are the applicability of those data sets, right? And when I'm applying those, no, for various purposes, various applications, am I intruding into your privacy concerns? Am I violating any security concerns? Now, if you approach technology the way, we are discussing, I think the opportunities, the scale is huge. The collaboration opportunities engaging with industry for us as a government is huge. And it's a win-win scenario, right? We have done that, we have proven it, we are working on it. So where are the issues? There is no issue. But how judiciously, how carefully you implement it, you operationalize it, you execute it, and you make it sustainable. So that's how I put it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Can we have a
Golok sir, for your inspiring words. And I would like to request Mitali to come on the stage and felicitate sir.
So do we have any questions for Mr. Simley? So before I go him for the felicitation, so any questions from anyone?
Thank you. Thanks. First of all, thank you, Golok. I think you have gone, Mr. Amar has talked about the trends and the regulations part of it, how it is crucial. You actually double-clicked and went one level down on the ground that how this has to be managed properly, and Passport Seva Kendra is doing an excellent job in terms of looking at the kind of population and numbers it is addressing. It's a tremendous job. When you were talking about the challenges, and I have a question around that. Today, it is most of the passport processing is automated. However, still certain places we see that when the passport is gone for police verification or for reviews or that kind of areas, how do you see eliminating some of the nuances of human intervention there? Because that's the major heart of the process, which is today delaying the majority of the passport processing. How do you see data playing a role in creating a seamless experience for the passport holders?
Thank you, Asurya. I was knowing that these questions are going to come. In fact,
They are real challenges.
in fact, you are very right, and we are working on those directions. In fact, let me ask you, why do I need a police verification? So, why do I need a police verification? I am doing three things. I am trying to establish your citizenship, right? I am also trying to establish your criminal antecedents. And the address is actually, that's a misnomer. I'll say that's a misnomer. No, it's just that we are asking for verification of address. Now, assume that the criminal database is intact, it is real time. I must not need or I must not seek the help of police officers to go into the field and check your credentials. Assume that there is a citizenship database available with me, which is as per the citizenship law, right? We all are aware of. Why do I need that? I don't need that. And that's why, like Asurya said, the idea is not about what kind of a practices you are following or the processes you are following. These practices, these processes are being built or has been built just to safeguard these via medias, no? I'll say via medias. Because you do not have those databases in place. Like she said, provided I have these data points readily available with me on a real-time basis, I do not need. And going forward, for an example, now on reissue cases, we are working, we will be calling you, it will be a faceless service, right? Why do I call you? I have all your data, right? When first time you came to me. So it's just that, no, approaching to a problem or approaching to a particular use case, the idea is, and that is where I think the use of technology, the corporates, the industry at one side, and when I am enabling those features, those processes, those policies as a government, which our Honorable MP was also saying, how do we facilitate you to enable that, right? And that's the crux. It's a collaborative. It's a collaboration which will give you that result. And not only in passport, Ashwarya, this is we are doing. For an example, tomorrow what will happen, you will go for a, let's say, Aadhaar. You are saying, hey, I have to change my address in Aadhaar. I can very well ask you, gentlemen, you are asking your address change in Aadhaar. Would you also like to change your address in passport, driving license, so and so forth? Yes. Why do you go to 10 places to change the same address? It's not required. It's not required. And that is where the another concept we are working on very hard, where along with the industry naturally, that is called the concept of aggregator. No? We are working with the open banking system, which is a reality now. There will be a time, and that time is not far. I can visualize within 2-3 years, these aggregator concepts will also come in government service delivery, whether it is passport, driving license, so and so forth. So thank you. Thank you, Asura, for asking this. Thank you.
So can we have a big round of applause for Mr. Golak?
So can we have Mitali on the stage for felicitation ceremony? With a huge round of applause.
Let's set up stage for our next session, which is coming up now. That is our keynote address 1.
So let's welcome our keynote speaker, Ms. Jeannie Sujan Jain, Head of Government Affairs and Public Policy, Asia Pacific, Japan, Middle East, Turkey and Africa, Kaspersky.